free WagerTalk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.
Happy Thursday, guys. Welcome to another edition of Stoppage Time. I am Carmine Bianco of WagerTalk.com. And with me are Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo, Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com, and one of my favorite Irishmen, Kevin Dolan, also of WagerTalk.com. We are going to cover four big domestic league games that go this weekend. And if you're looking for today's Europa League, check our WagerTalk TV library. You'll find those on Tuesday's show where we covered both games today, Roma versus Man United and Villarreal and Arsenal, to see if we can get another All-England final. Guys, let's bring the guys in. Kev, I'll start with you first because you and I are pretty happy about that result yesterday with Chelsea beating Madrid 2-1 to head to the finals to face Man City. We're both sitting on Chelsea futures at 14-1 for ourselves and for our clients. How you doing? And your thoughts on yesterday's game?
Well, yeah, as you said, I'm definitely better after last night's result. And I thought Real Madrid were poor. I'll say that. Chelsea should have put the game to bed in the first half. Numerous chances, and especially even at the start of the second as well. But Chelsea look impressive. And if we just go back to that FA Cup semi-final as well against City, they've definitely got the match in the City. And as we all know, my opinion on hedging bets, so I'll be riding Chelsea all the way to the victory parade. But good night overall. I had the Chelsea in under 3.5 prop plus 187 last night, 2-0 in NBA, which was nice. Got it, we'll skip NHL because I got a bit of a smacking around there. But it's been a fantastic last 2 months, and hopefully cash another big ticket later on in the Europa League.
All right, good to hear. Nick Borrman, how are you doing, my friend? Quick thoughts on yesterday's game, and what do you have up today in Europa League?
Yesterday ended up being good. I was on Chelsea, and I took a couple other games throughout the day. So good 4-0 day, which was a nice bounce back because I was all over PSG too many different ways and got hammered on Tuesday, I guess that was. So good bounce back and been a good run last 10 days, up 28% in soccer last 10 days. So hoping to roll into today. I do not have the Chelsea futures bet like you guys. I should have listened. I didn't, which is normally the case. I'm always on the wrong side of the futures. But I do have an all-English parlay finals for both Champions and Europa League. I'm basically 3 of the 4 legs home. We just need Arsenal to pull through today. So I got that going today. I'm hoping to cash. But I have a 5% ticket up for one of the games today as well. So you can head over to my page and check that out.
All right. You guys hear 5% play for Nick. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Click on his page and you'll find it there. Let's bring in from Sports Memo the exact score savant himself, Pavlos Laguretos. Pavlos, how you doing, my friend?
I got to be honest with you, Carmine. I'm not doing good. My correct scores are not hitting. I had the 1-1 in the game last night. I don't know what Real Madrid are doing. Eden Hazard looks like an ex-player. Chelsea's Mendy is one of the, if not the best goalkeeper in the world. I made a mistake in going against him. He got a clean sheet, made 5 tremendous saves. This could have been both teams to score, yes, but it ended up as a no. I lost 5%. Just looking to some weekend matches to turn this around.
All right, and I'm sure you will. It was good. Listen, Chelsea put on a fantastic display. Conte in midfield was absolutely phenomenal for them yesterday, and a big part of why that team won. And Madrid had their chances, a couple of them. Benzema, with a couple of very good chances, they just couldn't break through. And it's an all-England final, and we'll be covering. We'll be covering those 2 teams that are meeting in that final in one of our 4 big games. And let's get right into them, guys. These are the 4 games we are going to cover on today's show. German Bundesliga, the big game, Dortmund and Red Bull Leipzig. Then we'll go to to England, and we'll cover both the Manchester City Chelsea games and the West Ham Everton game, and then off to Italy, where there is a big game with Champions League implications, Juventus and AC Milan. But let's kick it off with the first one, Dortmund, Red Bull Leipzig. Dortmund at home, plus 125. The draw is plus 250. Leipzig, plus 200, and the total is at 3.0. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Listen, the league title is essentially locked up for Bayern Munich. Leipzig are probably locked into that second spot. But there is an interesting race for the Champions League spots, those last two spots. You have Wolfsburg in third, Frankfurt in fourth, and Dortmund 1 point back of Frankfurt, 2 points back of Wolfsburg. So this is a big game for them. But I don't expect this Leipzig team to roll over here. You give me your thoughts.
Yeah, Dortmund, they're currently sitting outside of the top 4 spots that lead to the Champions League, so they're definitely looking for a win here, and maybe bypass either Frankfurt or Wolfsburg for the 3rd or 4th spot. So this is a high stakes match, especially for Dortmund, who they've been great at home lately. They've only lost to Manchester City and Frankfurt in the last 13 home matches in all competitions. They have 7 wins, just those 2 losses and 4 draws. While Red Bull Leipzig, they haven't been very stable lately. They haven't had back-to-back wins in their last 9 matches. They have been alternating between a win, a loss, and a draw in the last 9. So they're not very stable right now. 7 of their last 9 matches went under 2.5 goals. And the lack of a true striker for Red Bull Leipzig is apparent. They've only scored 55 goals this season, and most of those goals come from either midfielders or defenders. They do have the best defense with just 25 conceded goals, but that's not always going to win you the Bundesliga. I mean, Bayern Munich, they have 86 goals. That's 31 more goals than Red Bull Leipzig. So I think offense wins you the title in the Bundesliga, and Red Bull Leipzig should address this problem in the transfer window. So Dortmund won the reverse fixture by 3-1 on the road, and they're now undefeated in their last 6 against Leipzig. They have 4 wins and 2 draws. And each of the 3 previous matches between the 2 sides in Dortmund produced goals from both sides, and at least 5 total goals. So I think that's the way to go here. Maybe Leipzig will try to take this slowly based on their defense, but they've only kept just 1 clean sheet in the last 5 away matches in all competitions. I think they'll have a tough time against Dortmund here. I think the over 3 goals is the way to go here. In the worst case scenario, this is going to be a push.
Yeah, and Nick, you follow Dortmund a lot. It's interesting because obviously this summer and a lot of what happens in the standings in the Bundesliga, things are going to change. Obviously, we know Leipzig, their manager Nagelsmann is off to Bayern to take over coaching duties there. And then you look at Dortmund; if they don't qualify for Champions League, it's just such it's a suspicion that you could see Holland want to move from this side. His manager, he wants to participate in Champions League. He doesn't want to be in Europa League. He's a high-profile player who gets paid a lot of money, and he doesn't want to be stuck in Europa League next season. Give me your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, you definitely took the words out of my mouth there. Even Sancho, same thing, could very well be gone if they do not qualify. Both players may be gone anyway, but they definitely need to qualify to have any chance of keeping those guys. And of course, these 2 teams now meet twice here in the next 5 days as they play in that DFB Pokal final as well after this game. So this one particular one, I'm going to give the edge to Dortmund. I think the current form of them is very good. They've rattled off 4 straight wins now since being knocked out of the Champions League by Man City. They've scored 13 goals during that run while allowing just 1. Granted, one of those games was a 5-0 win against second-tier Holstein Kiel. But they did beat a very good Wolfsburg team, 2-0 on the road. They've climbed back into Champions League contention, as you guys already alluded to. They're only 1 point back of Frankfurt and 2 points back of Wolfsburg. And if they win out, they'll definitely qualify for the Champions League next year. This is easily their hardest game, although they do have Leverkusen, that final game of the year. But this is the game they absolutely need to win. And, they've actually done pretty well against Leipzig this year, in recent history as well, with 4 wins and 1 draw. in their last 5 meetings, including winning 3-1 in the reverse fixture. So I think the simple play here is Dortmund at the small plus money price. But in agreement with Pavlos' over, the way I'm probably going to play this, I haven't done it yet, but I'm probably going to play this, is Dortmund and both teams to score, which, piggybacks on his over. But I don't see Dortmund keeping Leipzig off the score sheet. And that Dortmund plus both teams to score prop, right now you can get around plus 280. So I love the payout of that number. I think that's the way I'm going to go into this game.
All right, that is a good option indeed. Kev, this is one of those games. Like, I understand the importance to Dortmund, and that plus money looks very good. And they're the second highest scoring team at home, 34 goals, which is second only to Bayern Munich's unbelievable 53. But this Leipzig team are a very good defensive side. Only 25 goals, I believe, allowed on the season, which is the best. And only 14 goals allowed in away fixtures, which is also the best, tied with Bayer Leverkusen. Final word on this game?
Yeah, I think Dortmund are the play here. It's just it's less about a must-need win game for them. It's just the way they're playing it late. The guys touched on this. They've just completely turned the corner from where they were. 4 straight games. 4 wins from 5 at home. As we said, we know they had massive problems earlier in the season, but since March 1st, they absolutely own the league in overall XG chances created. At home, it's even better. They've created an average of 3.38 XG per game. Like, those are absolutely phenomenal numbers. And, just for comparison's sake, Bayern and Leipzig are producing just 2 and 1.86 respectively. Good numbers in any league, but, far from that 3.38. So Dortmund are a team really on fire right now, and this is a game they need. We know that, chasing Champions League football, as you guys said, for next season. But I just think on top of that, I think Leipzig, with Nagelsmann's upcoming departure, Upamecano's departure, I think they've come off the boil at just the wrong time. And I do expect a Dortmund win here on Saturday.
All right, there you have it, guys. Some pretty good opinions on the big one in Bundesliga this weekend. That game goes on Saturday. Another big one this weekend, PL, a game with a lot of its implications to it as well, too. Man City and Chelsea, the two teams that will be meeting in the end of the month Champions League final. The line at the beginning of the week was Man City minus 138. It is now Man City minus 110. The draw was 275. It is down to 250 now. And Chelsea was plus 350. It is now plus 320. The total is 2.25 goals, 2.25, which is a split line of 2 and 2.5. This one's interesting for the sheer fact that these teams have already faced each other a couple times this season. They will face each other an additional time. They met in the FA Cup. City lift the trophy with a win here. This game is equally as important to Chelsea in the sense of they are battling for that 4th and final spot in the league, which comes with a Champions League placing should they not win the final and gain automatic entry. So, Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. We know that Chelsea won't be resting any players, but what kind of a squad do you, and performance do you think we see from them?
Of course, these two teams play this weekend, right? Just fitting. Listen, I love the fact that we're covering Chelsea games in these shows all the time because I just copy and paste my notes over from the last show, and I basically add one more team, good team, to the list of teams that Chelsea have now held scoreless, right? So you got Tottenham, Atletico, Man United, Liverpool, Atletico again, Porto, Man City in the FA Cup, and now Real Madrid yesterday. I mean, we've said enough about how good their defense is and how good it is against the best teams in the world. So, the simple play here, I think, because Man City is also on fire on the defensive side, is just set the under and forget about it. But, if you're going to choose a side on this one, I actually think, contrary to where you look at the standings, Man City's got this thing wrapped up. Chelsea need to win for Champions League football next year. However, a Champions League win in 3 weeks will negate that need. I think this game is more important to Man City than it is to Chelsea, right? So Man City are coming off the 1-0 loss to Chelsea in the FA Cup, right? And Pep is just not a guy that sits with, and he's I don't want to call him a head case, but he definitely is mental in the fact that he wants his players to have the confidence. He can't live with that loss on his resume, and I think he's going to use this game as a I don't know, a way to kind of get into the minds of Chelsea a little bit, make them think twice about what they're doing. Because if they can pull off a win and they do it, and I mean, if they win and it's a very, very close game, it's still a win. But if they can do it with some sort of, I don't want to say dominant fashion because I doubt they're going to dominate Chelsea, but in some sort of controlling fashion, it really throws a wrinkle into the next 3 weeks of, the analysis of that Champions League final. So I think this is a more important game for Man City. They win it, the Premier League's over. They can rest the rest of the way. They don't have anything else to play for that Champions League. While Chelsea, it'll be interesting to see how they play the next few weeks. Do they push for the top 4 in the Premier League as a fallback for not winning the Champions League final, or do they focus on that Champions League and make sure they're healthy for that final? So I like Man City in this game. I think it's more important to them. I think they win it. Again, under is a very likely way to play this as well. And when we get to the Champions League final, I'm probably looking the other way. I'm probably going with your guys' future bet on Chelsea. Although 3 weeks away, I reserve the right to change my mind.
Yeah, I change my mind almost hourly, Nick. So I wouldn't blame you if you want to change your mind. With that said, Kev, I'm going to go to you on this one. Listen, what a difference a manager can make. It's plain and simple. These teams played in round 17 of the PL season, and at Stamford Bridge, and within 30 minutes, City were already up 3-0 in that game. It was probably one of the death knells that was coming for Frank Lampard. And then they play in the semifinals of the FA Cup, and Chelsea played. Chelsea played a pretty fantastic game. They won 1-0. That's all they need to do. This is a team that is keeping a ton of clean sheets, especially at home. Obviously, this one is on the road, but does anything change here? Give me your thoughts.
That's true, Carmine, but I like Frank. I like Frank as a person, and I mean, who else is going to drop F-bombs at Jurgen Klopp now that he's gone, on the touchline? I mean, I don't think Tuchel's going to be doing that, so I'm hoping someone hires Frank Lampard back. Let's get him back in the EPL, but, I'm expecting, similar to what Nick said, I think there's going to be an incredibly vanilla game on Saturday. This is something that we see in the NFL all the time, coaches effectively not showing their hand in a regular season game. If there's a chance of meeting that same team down the road in a potential playoff. So I don't expect either manager to show their true hand here either. Pep has so many weapons at his disposal. I obviously know there's a lot of players at Chelsea too, but just the way, so many different formations at City to choose from. And, whatever one he ends up going with in the Champions League final in a couple of weeks will likely resemble nothing of what we're going to see here on Saturday. So while City they'll no doubt want to end the title race officially, in this game, put that one to bed, so to speak. And Chelsea also want to guarantee top 4 placement for next season in case they don't win that final. But I'm still not expecting either team to push for the win here, to be honest. We know this is the dress rehearsal for the big showdown in a few weeks. So obviously, a lot of the media is going to be on this game. All eyes are going to be on this game in terms of, how this one's going to go so they can kind of predict the next one. But I don't believe we'll learn anything from this game. As both managers probably likely to be a bit coy here. I like the outright draw. You said plus 275, come down to plus 250 now. I still think that's a decent price. And look, the total of 2.25 in a Man City game tells you all you need to know about how the books expect this game to go down. So, yeah, I like the under, and I like that outright draw, 0-0, 1-1, something like that for me. Healthy plus 250 price. And I'm just not expecting an exciting game here.
Yeah, I'm not either. It's not about giving things away. I think these teams know each other, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. As far as this game goes, I don't think we see a lot of goals in it. It's going to be a good one to watch, but we're not going to learn anything from this game that we might not already know heading to that Champions League final. There's going to be no surprises here. These two very good teams, and Pavlos, listen, City. Just a month or so ago, or 2 months ago, we're looking at possibly 4 trophies. That is down to 3 possible trophies after the FA Cup semifinal exit. They did beat Tottenham in the EFL Cup. The Premier League is theirs. So Chelsea are the only ones who can get in their way of that treble. Give me your thoughts on this one, though.
Yes, they can get in the way, but if you look historically, Chelsea, they've been bad in this venue. They have just 2 wins in their last 12 matches as visitors against Manchester City. They've lost 9 times, and the other one was a draw. and they've also lost each of their last 3 matches in this venue and 4 of the last 5. But history isn't always relevant. This is a very tough match to predict. Logic dictates that we'll see. You guys made some great points about the under. So I think my play here is the under 2.25 goals. But I'd like to say that Chelsea, they have a tough schedule to finish the season. If they lose in the Champions League final, Champions League play is not guaranteed for next season because they got West Ham 3 points behind them and Tottenham 5 points behind them. So if they lose to City and West Ham beat Everton, then it's gonna be tough for Chelsea because then they have Arsenal at home. Then they have 3 days later they have the FA Cup final against Leicester. Then they play against Leicester 3 days after that at home. Then they get Aston Villa. So they might be out of the Champions League next season. It's not so far out there to believe that, especially if they lose on Saturday against City. So I'm gonna say more about that when we cover the West Ham versus Everton match. But as far as this match goes, I'm on the under 2.25 goals.
All right, there you have it, guys. The big one, as far as I think everyone is concerned in England this weekend, is that City Chelsea game. There is another big one. We're going to get to that one in a couple minutes, but first we're going to head to Italy for a big one as well there. Juventus, AC Milan. Juve are minus 150. The draw is plus 300. AC Milan are plus 350, and the total is 2.75, which is a split line of 2.5 and 3. Listen, what can I say? Inter Milan are the champions of Serie A, finally breaking that stranglehold that Juve had on those titles each and every year. But the exciting part is there is a fantastic race for the second, third, and fourth spots, which come with a Champions League spot. You have Atalanta, Juventus, and AC Milan sitting in second, third, and fourth, respectively, all three on 69 points. Napoli, a couple points back at 67, and Lazio, who have a game in hand at this point, at 64 points. So they could still enter this fray. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one, and then I'm going to throw out a prop bet once you're done on this game. But this is a big one for both sides. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Juventus, I mean, what a really rough season it's been for Juve this year. You know, fewest points in a decade. There's now a 13-point gap to league leaders Inter. That's embarrassing. And if AC Milan managed to get on the score sheet here on Sunday, that'll mark Juve's worst clean sheet record. You know, no clean sheets in a potential 12-game span since 1999. You know, I was only a young buck back then, you know, so that's a long time ago. So it's definitely been a season to forget, you know, for the old lady here. And, you know, actually, that's how I'm going to approach this game. Poor defense. That's the way I'm going to look here. I think we're going to see a very fast start in this one. You know, Juve have struck first in 11 of their 17 home matches this season. 5 of those 11 goals came within the first 15 minutes of play. And 4 of AC Milan's last 5 matches have also seen the opener in those games arrive in the first 15 minutes. So with how both of these defenses set up, how poor they are, I think a fast start is extremely likely here. The over 1 goal in the first half is going off at a minus 135. You know, that gives you some added protection in case there is only 1 goal. But in all honesty, I expect more here. AC Milan lead the league on first quarter scoring this season. Now, I know we don't do quarters in soccer. That's an American thing. But goals created within the first 23 minutes of play, so to speak. And Ibrahimovic himself has netted the opener 7 times already this season. So I think we see 2 goals plus in the first half of this game. I am expecting a really fast start, and I'm going to back the over 1 goal first half at minus 135.
All right. And I know how you can get part of the way there with that over 1 goal in the first half. And I'm going to throw this one to Pavlos because he is a prop guy as well, too. But how about Juve to score a penalty at plus 350, Pavlos? I've seen who the official is for this game, and I'm not saying he's a little biased, but he has handed out some penalties. Give me your thoughts on that play and on this game.
Yeah, I love that play. This is gonna be a tough match between the two sides. However, Juventus, they've been great against AC Milan at home. They have 9 straight wins in league play. against AC Milan. AC Milan's last league win in this venue dates back to, I think, 2011. That's a decade of not winning a Serie A match in this venue. So I usually like these historical stats. They don't always come out true, and sometimes you got some histories like that, and then AC Milan goes and win like 0-3 or something like that. But as far as this match goes, Kevin made some great points about Juventus defense. It's been terrible. They haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 6 home matches. Of course, they had 7 clean sheets in their 7 previous matches. But their defense is faltering lately. It's just scrambling down. They haven't kept any clean sheets in their last 11, I think, matches in all competitions. AC Milan's defense is just as terrible. They have kept just 1 clean sheet in the last 10 away matches in all competitions. However, they won 5 of those. They lost 3, and they have 2 draws. Juve, they have the second best home record in the league this season with 13 wins, 2 losses and 2 draws, while AC Milan, they have the best away record this season with 13 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. The way I look at this, I'm going to go with both teams to score here. The price is not great, minus 130, around minus 130. And I think that that's the way to go here. I think that we'll see goals from both sides, even though AC Milan, they failed to score in 4 of the last 5 matches as visitors against Juventus. I also think that Zlatan Ibrahimovic has a great incentive to score against his former team. He played for Juve back in 2004 and 5, I think. So, yeah, I think Zlatan to score here and both teams to score are some prop bets that you can go with. And also the penalty kick. I love that, Carmine.
All right, awesome. I'm glad that you're rubber stamping that play for me, so we don't have to pull out that yellow card for you. So it'll stay in my pocket for the time being. Nick, I'm gonna give you the final word on this. And I've made a couple predictions, throughout these shows, and one of them was the managerial changes that I thought were coming. And I said Hansi Flick would take over the German national team, and Nagelsmann would go from Leipzig to Bayern. That one has happened, of course. Both of them have happened. Here's one I'm putting out there, guys. As long as Juve qualify for the Champions League, while they gave Pirlo the vote of confidence saying he'll be the manager next season should they qualify for the Champions League, I think he's gone. They have they did it with Sarri. They've done it with Allegri. While they overpay coaches at times, I seriously see Zidane here next season if they're in Champions League, and I'll give him an assistant coach of Alessandro Del Piero as his assistant coach. So I'm throwing that out there, guys. Zidane as the new Juve coach. Nick, give me your final thoughts on this game.
I've been calling Milan frauds pretty much all season long, even in the beginning of the year when they were at the top of the table for quite some time. I mean, they've really made their living this year in league play on penalty kicks. And without them, they're just simply not as good as the record indicates that they might be. I don't think it's really going on a limb here, but I'm saying AC is not only not going to win this game, they're going to drop out of the top 4. They're not going to qualify for Champions League next year. Juve, they've done what they've needed to the last few games. They got 4 wins in their last 6. They're back into the Champions League position right now. They'll further cement that spot with a win here. What's crazy to me is looking at expected goals numbers, and Kevin and I always like to look at those numbers. While of course it doesn't play out to what's going to happen on the field, it does kind of give a good indication of teams and what might happen in the future. Although Juve surprisingly lead the league at plus 1.19 expected goals per game for a differential, while obviously they're nowhere near the best team in the league this year. But AC Milan has been spot on. AC Milan is 6th in the expected goals table at plus 0.53, and that's right where I expect them to finish. Again, it was just a good metric to use for them, of a team that just really wasn't creating a lot of chances in open play. They were living off the penalty, which, Ibrahimovic is really the master at getting the penalty calls, but still, without them, they just do not have much of a chance. On top of that, Juve, they've just simply owned Milan with 10 wins, 2 draws, and just 1 loss in their last 13 meetings. I think Juve is going to get it done here. I like the small short price right now on them to win at home in this one.
All right, some more great actionable information from Nick Borrman. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. Guys, before we head into this final game that we're going to cover, which is another big PL game between West Ham and Everton, I want to send out a huge congratulations to Wager Talk's Kelly Stewart. She has signed as a betting consultant and will do a show with ESPN Sports. Absolutely fantastic career move for her, and we wish her all the best. She will still remain with WagerTalk.com doing the Bet On It football shows with Marco D'Angelo and Gianni the Creek, along with Ralph Michaels. So you can still catch her at WagerTalk.com, but kudos to her on this great move, and we look forward to seeing her on ESPN. All right, West Ham, Everton. West Ham plus 125. The draw is plus 225. The Everton is plus 220, and the total is 2.5. You look at this, Nick mentioned it. I think a couple of you guys mentioned it. West Ham, 58 points, 3 back of Chelsea. Chelsea still have a very difficult schedule, as does Leicester, who they are 5 back of. And we know what Leicester did last year. It's a little bit of that choking. I hate to say it if you're a Leicester fan, but they fell out of the top 4 spot and lost a Champions League spot on the final couple of weeks of the season. Everton, a bad loss at home to Aston Villa. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one. They really needed those 3 points that would have them on 55 right now and within earshot. They still have a game in hand, but losing that game to Aston Villa's got to hurt. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Everton here. They have a great coach, and I think he has a great experience in handling this type of situations. If you look at Everton's latest matches, they have a lot of unders. They have, I think, 5 straight unders, which goes to show that he's not very fond of this attacking style of soccer where you score a lot of goals, you score 5 and then you concede 3 or whatever. He's a very effective coach, much like not much like, but like Tuchel or Pep. I don't want to pump him up that much, but anyway, he's fond of a very defensive style of soccer, and that's more than visible, except a few games where there was an early goal or where their defense was not complete because they had a lot of injuries this season. So where I'm going with this is that I expect a low-scoring match here. That goes against West Ham's recent form. There have been over 2.5 goals in 5 of West Ham's last 6 matches, and 4 of those had 5 or more goals. So West Ham, they're like a rodeo. They score as many goals as they can. They're not great at the defense, and they hope for results. And it's worked out for them. They're sitting at the 5th spot, and they have a fairly easy schedule till the end of the season, I must say. After Everton, they'll travel to Brighton, West Brom, and they'll finish off with a home match against Southampton. While Chelsea, we mentioned earlier, they play against Arsenal, against Leicester, against Aston Villa, and Everton. They don't have a fairly tough schedule to finish the season. After West Ham, they travel to Aston Villa. Then they have 2 consecutive home matches against Sheffield United and Wolves. And they finish off with an away match against Manchester City. But that match is, I think, 5 or 6 days prior to the Champions League final. So maybe Manchester City, they might seem indifferent in that match. So maybe Everton could hope for some points in the final match of the season. So anyway, there's a lot of moving pieces on who's gonna get the Champions League tickets. If Chelsea win the Champions League, if Arsenal win the Europa League, there's a lot of moving cogs here, and I think it's too early to predict who's gonna win the tickets to the Champions League. So all things said, I think I'll take the under 2.5 goals here at -110, and I think that's the way to go here.
All right, yeah, Nick, Pavlos mentioned it's a lot of the scheduling, and we see some of these teams have tough games. He mentioned as far as West Ham's schedule, which is a lot easier. Chelsea do have City, Arsenal, Leicester, and Aston Villa. I think Leicester's got the toughest one, other than this week, which this is an important game that they need to win. as for Leicester with Newcastle. They have Man United, Chelsea, and Tottenham. Those are not easy fixtures for them. So the West Ham might be looking at Leicester more than they are at Chelsea as far as snapping that final spot.
Yeah, for me, this one is it's all about understanding Everton. I got 4 straight winners on Everton. It's pretty simple, really, the strategy. Take them when they're getting goals, fade them when they're laying goals, and that formula seemed to work. I'm going to stick to it here. West Ham has been very good at home, 9-4-4 on record on the year, but Everton's been better on the road at 10-3-3, and they've conceded the 3rd fewest goals in the league on the road. They have wins against Leicester, Liverpool, and Arsenal on the road, and they've drawn against United, so there's no reason they can't come in here and get points against West Ham. Calvert-Lewin's back healthy, and they're so much better with him in the lineup. He scored in the last game, which was lost to Aston Villa, but he's a big part of that offensive scheme, and they need him in that lineup. So again, simple play for me here, but I'm going to take the plus goals. They have a small edge on them, 3-1-1 over the last 5 over West Ham. So I think getting a quarter of a goal here is the way I'm going to play this one.
All right, Kev, we are going to give you the final word on this one. The opportunity to always a rebuttal of Nick that I know you love to do. So the final word goes to you.
Yeah, well, I completely agree with Nick. I wrote down Everton plus a quarter here as well. You do on one side, it is quite a fascinating encounter because West Ham, they've been absolutely electric at home all season, second only to Man City on points accumulated. And then another team, as Nick said, you got an Everton team, 4th best road record overall on the league. So something's got to give here. But I do like Everton here as well, plus the quarter goal. I said 2 weeks ago that to me, West Ham were a team running out of steam at the wrong end of the season. And I'll stand by that. They'll be incredibly eager to close that gap on Chelsea. Knowing Chelsea have to travel to City. So I don't think they'll lack enthusiasm here. And no doubt they'll be fired up for this one. I just think Everton can capitalise on all that enthusiasm and catch them on the break. And I think they can get a result here. So, yeah, Everton for me, plus the quarter goal.
All right, there you have it, guys. 4 big games across Europe. Some very good actionable info from my 3 co-hosts, 3 of the best co-hosts I could have on this soccer show because Kelly Stewart was unavailable. So you guys come in after that. Guys, tune in, top of the hour, 11 o'clock. Another great co-host, Andrew McInnes, takes the wheel for Puck Time. Our guest today is Brian Leonard. We will discuss 5 big games across the NHL ice tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back on Tuesday. We'll be discussing some more domestic league games as obviously there is a break, and we'll talk about what happened in Europa League and the possible final as well too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
If you like betting on horses, be sure to check out WagerTalk.com's own Sig, who zeroes on one racetrack at a time, offering his handicapping skills. Visit his homepage daily for his top selection in each race free. If you want all his selections for that track, you can get his full racing report for just $9.